Well, hello. This is Godliness with Contentment, episode 16. Well, my name is Keno Hanna, and I am here to have a conversation about how to win with money from the Bible's perspective. To stay out of any legal trouble, I must say that the contents of this podcast are informational in nature. If you need professional advice, please consult your lawyer, financial advisor, or accountant. I want to kick it off with my scripture of the day. It's found in Proverbs 24:16. I'm not going to read all of it, but the key piece says this: though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again. Now, I don't know about you, but I love American football. I love non-American football as well, but that's for another day. This weekend is what the National Football League in America calls Super Wild Card Weekend. Now, my team was there. I saw the Miami Dolphins, it's my team, put up a pretty good fight on Sunday. We were undermanned. We were on our 3rd string quarterback, and we played against the Buffalo Bills. We lost, but that's actually not what I'm talking about tonight. There's something else that happened, and this happened on Saturday, and that is what struck a chord with me. So there was this game on Saturday evening that had the LA Chargers facing the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, Jacksonville had not been in the playoffs in about 5 years, and this was their 2nd year having Trevor Lawrence, their franchise quarterback, right? So they picked him number 1 out of university, and they were hoping, of course, that they struck gold with this guy. So the first year was, kind of a mess, but this was the 2nd year. They actually won their division. Not that they had a great record, but they won the division. The other 3 teams in their division didn't really do much this year, right? So they stunk it out. So Jacksonville had this home game, and the Chargers went to Jacksonville. Now, on the first drive of the game, Lawrence's ball was tipped and intercepted, and this led to the Chargers scoring. In the first half alone, I'm not going to give you blow by blow what happened, but needless to say, Trevor Lawrence's ball was intercepted 4 times, right? 4 times in the first half. At one point, the score was Chargers 27, Jaguars 0 in the first half. Now, if you've watched football for any length of time, you realize that that is tough to overcome. So you know what I did? I went to sleep. And I was tired anyway, right? I was kind of doing some hard work around the house, out in the yard, trying to not really fix the car, but, doing some car work. And I'm getting older and slower, and so I was tired, okay? So I awake pretty early the next day, so this is now Sunday morning, to hear my wife, who doesn't really sleep much, she makes some strange remark about ridiculous or impossible. I didn't know what she was talking about. So, at any rate, I didn't watch the game, so I said, well, let me take a look at the highlights, right? So a football game can be about 3 hours long. But here's a quick tip. If you watch it on YouTube the day after, it's about 12 to 13 minutes long. You can see the highlights, right? So you save a lot of time there. So that's what I did. I watched the highlights on YouTube, and guess what? It was impossible. It was ridiculous. She was right. The Jaguars won the game. Who would have thunk it? Well, I guess Trevor Lawrence, Coach Doug Peterson, and the rest of the Jaguars, they thunk it. They believed they could do it. So instead of digging their heads in the Florida sand, they played their butts off and they won. They did the things they needed to do. They made the adjustments they needed to make. And I guess most of that happened at halftime, right? That's when they made the adjustments. I'm not sure what Doug Peterson said to Trevor Lawrence or what he said to the other teammates, but whatever happened in the locker room at halftime contributed to the victory at the end of the day. So halftime score was 27-7. And they won the game. The guys who only scored 7 points in the first half. So I was reminded that, you know what? Anything is possible. Now, of course, coming from my viewpoint as a Christian, and the Bible tells us time and time again, when God's involved, anything is possible. Or another way to put it, nothing is impossible with God. Now, I'm not saying God was involved on Saturday night, right? There's so many things going on in the world and so many people praying for so many different things that are a whole lot more important than football, that God may not have even been involved with anything to do with that game, right? But I know that He is involved in my life. And sometimes it can feel less, sometimes it can feel more, but I know that He is always there. As it relates to finances, right? Because that's what I talk about. It's like any other thing in our lives. But do you believe that even though you have stunk it out in 2022 and perhaps all the years before, that you can still succeed in 2023 and beyond? For me, the challenge came from the fact that I was a late starter, right? At this point, I'm almost 50, right? So almost an old man. And it was only a few years ago when I decided to get serious about our finances, right? And yes, I believe that we can succeed, right? Together, my wife and I, that we will succeed. And I believe this because of my faith in God. But in addition, I know that I must work hard, right? I don't believe for 1 second that I'm going to be lazy, chill out, spend like crazy, and God is going to bless us in our finances. We must do something, even when it's only a little bit, right, towards the end goal. And a lot of times that becomes harder when the end goal is far off, it seems, right? And we don't see that miracle happening, and perhaps you're hurting, right? There's pain involved as the muscles are kind of going into shape. But I realize that if I lay down and give up, I'll never win. And that is what the Jacksonville Jaguars believed. If they lay down and give up, they will never win. But if they fight, then they had an opportunity to win. They could win. In fact, they did win. Just because you failed before does not mean that you will fail going forward. Now, truth is, you probably will. At least, we're going to fail. But the thing is, don't stay down. Get up and go again. Stay focused on the goal, believing that you will get there if you don't give up. And with God, you will get there. Well, this is my super wild card weekend podcast edition I just made that up. But hey, this is all I have for you today. I hope you join me for my next episode along with your friends and family. Please let others know how to find the podcast, get the help they need as well. They can find me on YouTube or Apple Podcast or TuneIn. Just tell them to look for Godliness with Contentment. This is Keno Hanna signing off. Check you later.